And for the FRQs, just for your notes, there are two long questions and four short questions. And there are the big questions. You will have six big questions in total. And I do really recommend that you start with short questions because questions one and two are the long questions, and questions three to six are the short questions. I usually recommend starting with those short questions using 10 minutes per short question. So you'll spend 40 minutes in total for these four short questions. The reason I recommend you doing this is just to warm up, okay? So after MCQ question, you'll be given like a 10-minute break and your brain is just messed up, okay? Because you might have bombed MCQ, you might have questions that you're confused with, okay? The long questions are long because they are long, meaning that they're actually long. The stimulus is like 2 pages long. It is crazy, okay? The questions are very challenging and analytical. So after your brain has been bombed by those MCQs and you're in a hectic, anxious situation, you likely do not have enough brain power to answer those long questions first, okay? And you'll actually mess up with the time management by starting the long question first because you do not have how you do not have like the general idea of how timing for FRQ should work, and you're just, going crazy in your brain. And while you're trying to write that long question inside your brain, there's going to be a chaos because you know that, oh, I'm just so confused at this long question, and there are four more short questions that I have to deal with. That's just not very smart thing to do, okay? So always start with short question to warm yourself up to get like a feeling of how timing would work out generally, and use 10 minutes per questions. So that'll, leave up around 50 good minutes for you to answer those two long questions, okay? And for long questions, again, you got 50 minutes, but I do recommend that you use 50 to 20 minutes per questions. And the most important part is that you have to stay focused. Short questions are generally simple, but they are challenging in some sense. So you might lose focus towards the end, but your goal is to retain that attention that you kind of garnered during those short questions a lot of time and reach that highlight during the long question answering time. Do you know that if you add up everything, you'll be left with around 10 minutes. That's just for a final check, making sure that you answered all the questions. And always generally, when you take the test, when you give 10 minutes per question, you usually use like 12 to 13. You usually overtime a little bit due to test anxiety. That's why you want to always plan tight ahead of time so that you have some time left for checking and in case you go overtime a little bit. All right. And for long questions, the questions one and two, each long question has 4 to 5 small questions. Okay, so question one, there's going to be A, B, C, D, E. All right, so when you open the test book, you're going to be like, what? Because there are so many questions within that one question, and each small question may be worth 1 to 3 points. So if you go back to the scoring criteria, each small question worth 1.7647 points. Yep. And there is a very specific category for scoring each small questions, okay? That's why you have to answer all the necessary prompts that are included in the question, please. If you look at those past AP biology scoring guidelines, there is a very specific guideline of what answers are to be scored and not to be scored. That's why you have to be very specific and clear in answering all the prompts in the questions, or you will not gain a point. And usually the stimulus, you're given like a very long experiment with some results. You might be, you know, thrown a data, a figure, a graph, just an experimental outline, all those crazy stuff. So what's in those long question as a small question? Usually, all right, there's a long stimulus, as I said, usually an experiment followed by its results, methodologies, graphs, figures, okay? So the stimulus might worth, 2 pages. It's a very long stimulus. That's why you got to thoroughly understand the stimulus and recall the concept. It's very similar to how things worked out for the MCQ section. And for small question 1, usually you're asked to explain the concept related to the stimulus. So it's a recall question. So it's going to ask, for example, um, how does how is this concept illustrated in this experiment or something like that. It's going to be a simple concept-based question. Small question 2, you'll be asked to identify the experimental factors like independent variable, dependent variable, positive control, negative control. And for small question 3, you'll be asked to describe the results. So you'll be analyzing the graph, the data to explain what has been garnered from the experiment. And for small question 4, you will be predicting the experimental results for some parts of experiments that have not been done yet, or improve some part of the experiment for scientific accuracy or relevance, or propose a model, something that goes beyond an overarching theme behind the experiment. Okay, so see how each long question is very holistic. It tries to, ask all the stuff that you know about AP biology and the concept relevant to this question, and they want all your knowledge to be thrown into this single response. And do note that for one of the long question, for either small question 1 or 2, you'll be asked to draw a graph. And for short questions, questions 3 to 6, you again are given stimulus. For all AP Bio questions, you'll be given a stimulus. Again, thoroughly understand and recall what this question is trying to get to me. Usually, question 3 is about scientific investigation, so you're given like an experiment. Question 4 about conceptual analysis, so you're usually given a scenario. Question 5, you're given analysis of model or visual representation, so you're given like a model. In question 6, you are doing analysis of data, meaning that you'll be given a data as a stimulus. So see how from question 1 to 6 for the AP Bio exam, it tries to, do a holistic review of whether you're actually AP Bio student, whether you actually learn not only the concept of not only the concept, but also how that concept would apply to, actual representations, experiments in biology. So the exam itself, I would consider it to be very holistic, particularly for the FRQ section. So hopefully that helped in, assisting you to fully understand what this AP biology exam is all about. And do not worry, do not be chaotic. Through those future video series, we'll be doing a lot of concept practice and you'll have some practice problem set at the end of the video lecture series for each concept, meaning that you will thoroughly understand each concept and understand how AP Biology, the College Board might be asking a question per concept tested. And you'll also have a full exam set towards the end of the video lecture series for you to do like a holistic review of how you're doing. All right, so do not, do not be worried. Do not freak out. It's not the end of the world. We'll get through step by step together, okay? So thank you for watching this second video, quite long, about the overview of the biology exam, and that is it for today, and have a nice rest of your day. Bye.